Am I the butthole for telling my siblings I want nothing to do with our mother's funeral and won't help pay for it? My siblings were upset I abandoned our mother. NTA. You didn't abandon her, you moved out as soon as you could, which is exactly what your siblings did. You spent a significant amount of time looking after her on your own. I'd say you've done more than your fair share. Op's siblings abandoned her. And this twisted narrative that she left her mom is probably just so they don't have to face that they left their small sister alone with their alcohol-sick parent. Shame on them. Op is the scapegoat and the others are upset that she's rocking the boat. Her siblings were raised by a very toxic person, so it's no surprise that they are dysfunctional as well. Definitely not the butthole, and she is justified in cutting her siblings off if they continue their behavior. Happy Cake Day. Happy Cake Day. It's easy to view things differently on the outside. Since the siblings hadn't lived with her for years, they were only getting small doses of her behavior and abuse. They possibly forgot what it was like because it's possible that she treated them better once they were outside those walls. But whatever it is, Op, you're NTA. You need to heal, and if being brought back into that mess, even though your abuser is now deceased, would make things painful, there's absolutely no need to subject yourself to it. Not for anyone's satisfaction. Also, when there are 5 of you, the abuse is dispersed. Original post had 4 solid years of constant undiluted abuse. Abuse is abuse and it is bad, however it is different when you have others there going through it with you. You can lean on each other for support. The strong help the weak. She was essentially the only victim for 4 years. No one there to talk to, no one to help her escape, no one but her. Absolutely. Until they realize the harm in their actions, past and present, original post is better off going no contact altogether. NTA. Happy Cake Day. Happy Cake Day. And also, second to all of this, original post is not the butthole, and I agree the siblings should be cut off as well. As the child of an alcoholic mother, I cannot blame the siblings to abandon ship. It is exactly what we did. But for my underage sister, we tried to her father custody, and when he refused, we took care of her. Not for our mother, for her. Abandoning the grown-up who has to sort themselves out is one thing, but you do not abandon a child. Side note, so not everybody will think my mother was a monster. She was trying to better herself. Last few years she hadn't been taken into the hospital for overdrinking, started some therapy, but the alcohol and stress had been too much and her body gave out. Yeah, I don't blame them for getting the hell out as soon as possible, nor do I blame the youngest sibling for resenting them for it. It's just a crap situation all around, and we don't know how original post reacted to them leaving when she was young / if they'd even have been able to keep in contact with her. They are crafty for blaming her for moving out though, when all she was doing was escaping an abusive, toxic environment exactly like they did. I think it's also crap to expect a 24-year-old who likely doesn't have the greatest financial stability to ante up money for a funeral when the rest of them are close to / above 30 and are likely to have careers. As the child of an alcoholic mother, I cannot blame the siblings to abandon ship. It is exactly what we did. Found this comment faster than I expected. It's obvious they're projecting onto her. While this is true, they're also the children of a dysfunctional alcoholic. They did abandon her, but they also probably raised her. I'm extending a lot of grace all the way around to this family, because I think they all need a ton of therapy. Unlike Op, most, if not all, of the kids might have great memories of their mother if she didn't turn into a crap show until the dad bailed, and had to deal with still technically having a mother, but a crap one instead. Nah, here, just a bunch of adults with tragic childhoods who all probably need some help to learn healthy dynamics, not just for their relationships with each other, but for all their relationships in their lives. This post just makes me so sad. Edit, nah, here except that mother. Alcoholism is a disease, but if you can't manage that disease and parenting children, you need to figure something else out for those kids. They never visited, refused to help me, and rarely called our mother. You are giving them more grace than they deserve, I suspect. While I agree that this was horrid for everyone, I feel most for the little one that was left on her own. At least the others had some buffers, she was really left alone. My oldest sister kind of did that to me too, but I don't blame her. My parents were extremely bad people, and when my stepmother came in, it was 1000x worse. She was 8 years older than me, and moved when she was 16 to a city a few hours away, and then moved to the other side of the world when she was 19. She wanted to be free of them, and I get it. I don't talk to my dad or stepmother ever. She was young. I do have a middle sister as well, but she beat me and emotionally abused me pretty bad. She just had so much anger due to our parents, and I was the only one she could take it out on. I know for a fact that my oldest sis has always felt guilty, and even though she never moved back, we still have a super close relationship. She knows all the stories and what happened to me when I had no one, and she has been trying to make it up to me ever since. She even left her 2 young kids to come here and give me a kidney. She never ever even hesitated. Middle sister refused to do it. So now we share matching kidneys, and I would say we have a super close relationship. Poor original post though. Their siblings just don't seem to care about her, and that's really sad. They know what she went through, as they did too. I'm thankful for mine. Love you, sis. Yeah, but they also probably spent the back half of their childhood raising each other in original post as well as doing the same things as Op. For a burnt-out, damaged teenager, how much can you expect? Ideally, at least one of them would have tried to get custody of Op, but they were still children themselves. It's possible they saw her as a catalyst for the disintegration of the family. Their father left while she was on her way. She might not be their full sister. They would have justified it to themselves in various ways, but there's not a single valid reason as to why they should have simply left her alone to deal with their mother. I see where you are coming from. But at some point as adults we have to take responsibility for our actions, even when they stem from past trauma. And there really is no need for how they are harassing their sister right now. She's not the butthole and the siblings are now for rewriting history, but I don't think you can blame any child for escaping abuse. They didn't fail original post back then because they weren't responsible for her. Her parents did and were. They were basically children themselves when they left. Doesn't excuse their behavior now at all, of course. Except, they all expected her to continue to live with her and take care of her. When she decided, just as they did, that she was done and moved out, they accuse her of abandoning their mother. They decided they didn't want the responsibility, but, because she was the last one left, original post was 100% responsible, and they washed their hand of them both. NTA. They are just trying to guilt trip you into being responsible for their lack of concern. It doesn't sound like they even had much of a relationship, but, when the going gets tough, they all point to original post and say it's her problem. I wouldn't pay 1 red cent. Honestly, shame on them. Exactly, not the butthole. Which, to be honest, is quite hypocritical from Op's siblings, because they did the exact same first. And now they are hurt that she won't help them? Heck no, Op, you're not the butthole here. Exactly, her siblings are being serious hypocrites. They moved out the minute they could, left original post behind to care for an abusive alcoholic on her own. If anything, they should be apologizing to original post because they abandoned her to look after their mother on her own when they knew exactly what it was like living with the mother. Op, you are not the butthole and you don't owe your mother or siblings anything. 100% agree. Frankly, shame on those siblings and every adult in Op's life who failed them by not calling CPS and getting original post out of there long ago. No child should have to clean up their mother's vomit and deal with drunken abuse daily. It's absolutely vile that they expect a damn thing from Op. NTA, and hold firm. You have nothing to feel guilty about. Yeah, original post didn't abandon her mother, she escaped her. So NTA. We have 4 pots calling the kettle black here. Original post did nothing the other 4 didn't do. They got away from their mother just like she did. I guess since she was last to leave they think she should have stayed, but that's BS, not the butthole. 100%, this. Original post didn't abandon her mother, her siblings did, and in doing so abandoned original post as well. Original post doesn't owe them anything at all. Not the butthole. I'd say you've done more than your fair share. That's what original post should tell them if there's ever a next time. I've done my part in taking care of our mother, and you want me to do more than what I already did? Nah, you've got this. I've paid enough as it is. NTA. I somewhat feel her pain. My mother was a drug addict and actually died when I was her age. But my older sister cut her off as soon as she could, and I was left to grow up, alone and with no support, with her for a couple of years. This is not her responsibility, and neither was taking care of her mother alone. If they wanted it to be, then it should have been a shared effort. But she didn't deserve the abuse and to be all but abandoned. And they don't deserve her help right now. I hate hypocrites, and the Ops siblings are full of it. They abandoned their mother in the original post the moment they could. They have the audacity to say something like that when the original post was the one who picked up after their mother for years. Stop that BS. They had no contact, no visits, etc. They expect someone else to help pay and attend the funeral? Not a chance. The last thing they'd hear from me is calling them a hypocrite, and to stop calling. Exactly. Original post took care or an abusive alcoholic when she was, I assume, 14 years old. Basically still a baby. Why didn't the oldest siblings help her at all? She owes nothing to any of them. Why would they expect the baby of the family to look after their mother anyway? They knew how their mother was, yet left their baby sibling alone with it. If they knew how badly it was, they should be more understanding, shouldn't they? Ops siblings are hypocrites. NTA. I think it's hypocritical of them to say you abandoned her when they left as soon as they could and didn't look back. I would have said nah, because they are also dealing with a neglectful childhood and all the trauma associated, but they have absolutely no right to hound you to be a part of anything you don't want to be. I think you're really strong for standing your ground here. All the best, Op. Seriously, the sheer effing audacity to say how dare you leave our abusive mother the minute you could, the exact same way the rest of us did. Not the butthole, you don't owe any of them anything. You've more than done your time and you deserve better. Enjoy your life and be happy on your own terms. Not the butthole, do not go to that funeral. Do not pay for that funeral. She was not a mother to you, and I am sorry you had to go through that. I was wondering why they think that a 24-year-old should help pay for the funeral? Her siblings are a lot older with likely more established careers. They should have more discretionary income than a 24-year-old would. I know this isn't always the case, but still think it would be inappropriate to ask a 24-year-old. I was looking to see if anyone had brought this up. Huge difference between being 24 and 28 to 33. My siblings were upset I abandoned our mother. As opposed to how they abandoned you? As a child? F that. NTA. Plus, didn't they also abandon their mother? But it wasn't their job to raise their sibling, they all did the same thing. Everyone was trying to get out of an abusive situation. From what I see here, I just think that after original post said no, the siblings became the because they wouldn't let it go. I agree, it wasn't their job, but original post was a child, and if anything, her siblings should have felt more compassionate towards her after they themselves experienced the same abuse their mother gave up. Not saying that they should have raised her, but they definitely should have tried to support her, and since things got so bad, Op had to parent her mother, they should have tried to get her out of there or something. Skeptical. Oh, I agree. It is a crafty situation all around, but we need to remember that the mother failed to raise her children, and her children shouldn't be blamed for that. And from the limited information, we have to make a lot of inferences about this situation. We don't know what happened with the other siblings or why original post decided to stay. But ultimately, from the scenario that original post is giving us right here and now, original post is NTA. The siblings were not the butthole for originally expecting help with the funeral, because it is not abnormal to expect that from a grown descendant when someone passes, but given the history, original post has no obligation to pay for the funeral. The siblings, in my eyes, became off of the guilt trips and not taking no for an answer. They abandoning original post and the mother is a thing that could be debated whether it was a good or bad action. The fact that they tried guilt-tripping original post by calling her the abandoner is a hypocrite and very butthole thing to do. Op is a woman. Fixed. I was going to say the same. F those double standards. F that hypocrisy. Not the butthole. You've already done more than enough for your mother. You cared for her during the years that she was meant to care for you. She is gone, a funeral doesn't benefit her, it's for the living to grieve, and you aren't grieving because your mum left you many years ago. You have done more than any dutiful child is required to. Carry on without guilt. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube. And share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.